Hold on, guys. Sorry. All right, cool. So, whew, baby, listen, guys, welcome to Dark Arts once more. Listen, I said I was going to come back yesterday. I didn't get to come back yesterday, so we're coming back today. Hold on. That glisten in my beard there? Now, yes, listen, I went for my comments, yeah, and some people were slewing me. They were on to me. Yo, they were finishing me in the comment section. Like, I mean, finishing me. Look, I said I don't want to break anybody's marriage up. I'm not here to do that. Okay. I'm not here to break anybody's marriage up. Okay. But when it's madness, it's madness. Okay. I'm gonna try and get. I'm gonna get the video up, and hopefully it shouldn't do me deadly again. And we're gonna discuss it, right? Because there is a power dynamic. I don't know what video people were watching, but when somebody starts off liking you from 15 and you're 21, there's gonna be a power dynamic. All of a sudden, some people, and not majority of my audience, actually, majority of you guys, but it was brand new people that were coming into the comment section that were trying to defend this nonsense. I'm like, you can't defend the nonsense. I wasn't even talking about the fact that this is illegal. I mean, I wasn't even talking about the fact that even that this is wrong morally. You know what I mean? Like, to have to start this way, right? I was talking more about the relationship and its power dynamic. I said, I don't want to break up their marriage. I want to just have a real conversation about the fact that at 21 and she's 15, there's a power dynamic. That's all. At 21 and he's 15, and even if she's 23 and he's 17, there's a power dynamic. And I was saying that the reason why he didn't have as much of a voice as I was seeing some of the other videos is because he was at a younger age when they were together. It makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It makes absolute sense. So when I was saying that, because I watched another video of theirs and I was like, oh, now it makes sense why he hasn't said anything. All right, let me try and get this clip up. Hopefully, my internet gonna be better today than it was yesterday. Yesterday's gone, but today I'm in need. All right, cool. Let me there we go. So let me try and get this up for you guys. Hopefully, my internet. Okay. All right, cool. There we go. I think the internet's working a bit better today. We're not stuck as we were the other day because it was a bit stuckish the other day. So, yeah. Okay, cool. Fantastic. All right. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's see. Okay, so there was an original video, and I'll get that original video up. In fact, let me bring that up as well, right? So whilst we're doing this, right? There was an original, but this video started off this way, right? Right?
It's very raggedy. There's one thing I'll say. Yeah,
hold on.
I guess, yeah. I just don't want you guys to think like, oh, we're couple, and I mean, we're perfect for each other.
Only keep Jesus on a pedestal.
Yeah, facts, and that's not me, and that's not him. So.
Follow us as we follow Christ.
Yeah, you always have like a
big bang, bow.
You want?
Okay, so I get it. We met each other at a church camp that both of our churches put together. So I went to one church, she went to another church. I was also just like a little kid. She was a little older. So I was like 15 or 16. I don't really remember.
Yeah, and I was like 20 or 21.
Yeah, so one of those two ages. And we just met each other. She was. I'm trying to sound this out. It sounds creepy.
I know. But, it really sounds creepy.
No, but it really when we first met each other, it wasn't romantic at all.
No.
But it was kind of more so that we were just in similar spaces, and we became friends.
Mm-hmm.
Before anything else, young guy always had a crush on her, but she, of course, is not giving me the time of day at all. Started a good friendship, and like even to the point where she's calling me like little brother. When I was in high school, her helping me with girl problems.
Okay. All right. So now let's have a real conversation, right? I came across this video. I wasn't searching for it. I came across the video, and as I started watching it, I was like, there was another video that I had watched, which was concerning a couple. Now I will potentially bring this up, right? there was another video that was concerning them, right? Them talking about their biggest argument. So I then obviously pitched this to my group, and I was like, we should talk about this. I think this is a great example of trying to break, how to recover from an argument, how to have a discussion about how to understand how to navigate this space. That was the beginning of that video, right? And then so when we watched that video, we were always in agreement, like, yo, something's not quite right here, because the way that old girl was going on about the relationship, the way she spoke to him at certain points is a madness, bro. So I'm deep and I'm like, what's actually wrong? Then obviously what YouTube does as an algorithm is it brings up more of their videos. So another video came up and I was like, oh, the reason why they broke up or whatever. I started watching it and I heard their story. I was like, yo, brother was 15. Okay, 15. So then I was like, okay, now this makes sense as to why the way she speaks at certain points, the way she does to him. And it's because there is a power dynamic, and at least there was a power dynamic, right? Brothers only now touch 25. Okay, so look, I know it's your favorite YouTuber. I'm not trying to break them up. I'm not saying they should get a divorce. I'm not saying that they should leave each other. I think you need to be freaking honest, because I don't mind calling some of you out. Yesterday, I was very kind. I was very, very nice. I said, I don't want to talk about the age thing. I want to focus on the relationship aspect. But some of you need to be called out, because some of you are scary. Okay? Some of you are scary. All right? Whether he was 15, whether they met or not, he liked her since 15. My point was power dynamic, because he's a young boy and you're pretending as if you don't know what that is. Some of you will get called out, and I don't mind. Okay? I don't mind calling some of you out, because he was 15, a young boy when he was friends, but he tells us he was feeling her. So he's already got that young mindset when he's looking at her. They didn't start dating until maybe 18, when he was 18 and she was now 24. Cool. I'm not saying that she did anything illegal. What I'm saying is there's a power dynamic between the two. I'm saying there's a power dynamic. I haven't even said that she groomed him. Let me just get out of my bed. I haven't even said that she groomed him, right? Wonder Payne said, I met my boyfriend when at 16 and he was 19. 16 and 19 is not 21 and 15, and it's not 18 and 24. Like you're making a comparison which is not even the same. That's 6 years, darling. You get what I'm saying to you? 6 years. I need you to wake up fast. I need you to wake up. Okay, I need you to wake up. You're making excuses and I don't like it. Wake up, right? When the men do this kind of stuff, I call them out for the nonsense. It's now becoming nonsense. You're defending something that's nonsense. It is nonsense. There is 6 years between the two of them. Like, where's your brain? Like, there's a power dynamic. Of course, he's 18 when 18 to 24. Like, yo, do you get what I'm saying to you? So I'm again not saying about they should break up. Listen to what I'm saying to you. You get me? Yeah. Because I think some of you are here to argue about the situation. I'm not here to argue the relationship, whether they should be together or not. That was never my issue. My issue is there's a power dynamic between the two of them. You know what I mean? There's a power dynamic between the two of them, right? Like, of course, they have a story. I heard their story. Their story about how they were on and off. It was a situationship for almost a couple of years. I actually listened to their story. I'm not mad at their story. I'm just saying to you that I heard their story. They had a situationship for a couple of years. Then she was finally tired and said, listen, you got to make a choice. Then he had to make a choice. Okay? I got something in my beard. I feel like I got something. Is that just a shine, or I got something in my beard, baby? I don't know what that is. I think it's a cream I was using, but I need to make sure it's in deep, man. Anyway, it's getting in my beard. Like, it's annoying. All right, cool. So, yeah. So, you know, So Wonder, what do you consider to be a power? What do you consider to be a power dynamic? What do you consider to be a power dynamic? So, what do you call a power dynamic? What do you call power dynamic? Right? What do you call power dynamic here? Okay. Let me know what your power dynamic is. Okay. So I want to play something, right? I said I'll play this clip as well, right? Because obviously I did another video previously. So let's just watch this video here a little bit, right?
Big arguments, except for that one time. It wasn't like top secret, but it was a huge misunderstanding.
Yeah, we had one time, one really big argument, and I don't even remember what it's about now.
It was like in the beginning. It was
That's what her original flight was, but I didn't realize. I can remember now. So I had Jess got her hair done.
in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. So she FaceTimed me and I was like, whoa, I love it. It's so great. Like, awesome, right? So the next day when she was coming home, I had a really long day at work and I had come home and I had made like a whole dinner for Jess as soon as I got home. So I was like, okay, I'm like, had a long day and I'm doing this for Jess and I'm really doing like, my best to kind of be like, husband of the year. So earlier in that day, Jess missed her flight. So she had to come home a little bit later than we originally planned. So when I went to go pick her up from the airport, I got all the way to Fort Lauderdale Airport where I didn't realize that she had said, because that's where her original flight was, but I didn't realize that her new flight was to Miami Airport. And if you're from South Florida, you know that those two things are very, 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 very different. So by the time I had driven down to Miami Airport to pick her up, I was just done. Like, I was just done with the day. I was just spent.
But I was wired up.
So Jess was super excited.
I can't wait to see my husband. I am going to see my husband. I was happy, girl. I was like, I can't wait to see my man, to go see my haircut in person. Like, I'm so excited. I had my suitcase. I'm taking over from here. I had my suitcase. I was ready. So Jonathan pulls up. I don't know what kind of day he has. He doesn't know how excited I am. He pulls up. Sorry, I don't want to, but he wouldn't get out of the car to put my suitcase in the bag and nothing. It wasn't my
best moment, but my head, she had a really small bag, and then it was like super crowded. I was like, hurry, just like put the bag in the car and let's go. But in retrospect, I would have got it. But
yeah, but this is why it was, like I said, it was a pretty small thing. I was like, why didn't he even come out the car to greet me, put my whatever? I get in the car, he's kind of quiet. He's not like, damn, girl, you look good. Like, it was just silence. And I'm like, are you not happy to see me? But then I was like, okay, whatever. It just sounds so dumb. But it was just a bunch of small things that were bothering me. And I'm like, I feel like you don't appreciate me like everybody else does. I feel like I mentioned like something about like if I should have married someone else, they would like appreciate me more.
Hey guys, it's editing Jess from the future. So I just want to clarify something really quick. First of all, I already know this argument is really stupid and I did not handle it well. We know that already. But what I really want to clarify is that say a specific name. I don't want people to be, ooh, if she would have been. I didn't say name. I was basically just saying, oh, if I would have married any other guy, I feel like they would, treat me like I was special to them. Not saying that I could get any other guy in the world. I was basically at that moment, which is also something I should never do, was comparing him to other husbands on how they are more expressive towards their wives. And I was like, well, so-and-so would blah, blah, blah for their wife. So ladies, also don't ever do that. Remind you, this was very early in the marriage. And we're still early in the marriage, but this was like our first big argument. And I was just like, to say it, but that is what you're going to see. The second half of our argument is why I decided to stop talking, because I was like, girl, I think you're handling this very well. Stop talking. And then it just gets worse from there.
Don't do that.
Yeah, and then
don't be like that. He's like, oh, you don't want to be married to me? I feel like that's what he heard. Like, I don't want to be married to you.
Okay, so she's like, you don't appreciate me. But what was going through my head was that I ate the fact that you missed the flight. Like, I didn't.
That had nothing to do with you though.
No, you missed the flight, so you had to pay for a new flight. But I didn't say anything about that. I made dinner. I did dinner.
He did a really good dinner. It was like, so good.
I made the dinner.
Okay. So there's a part in the conversation which the first part of it was when she made about the comment about saying obviously that if it was someone else you could treat her in a particular way. That was one aspect, but then there was another aspect where they're going to come to it in a second or two, another conversation, and the conversation is going to be around him asking for clarification on what she meant. And when he asks her for clarification, she doesn't clarify. Like, she intentionally doesn't clarify to kind of like I guess put him on his toes or whatever. And then I also noticed as well, and then also I noticed as well, and I'll play the short as well. There was a short there was a short that was also happening that where she spoke about him not being the right height. So she was like, oh, you know, when you pray for God for a 6'3" king, but you get a 5'3" one instead. And I said that there's a power dynamic because there's an age gap, a huge one, but not because of the age in terms of 6 years. There are couples out there that have 10. The age of 10 is not the issue. It's when it started. And I was saying that because he started liking her from 15. I remember being 15. I remember being 15 and liking certain girls that are older. And because I had not reached my maturation point, if I had entered into a relationship with some of these women that were considerably older, right, I would have been bested. I would have not been able to be my best self, because as a man, I need to grow into my maturation point where I can stand on my own 2 feet and be a man. And that means sometimes saying and doing stuff that I don't necessarily, that you may not agree with, not like. There have been times where I need to stand up for myself. There's been times where I need to do certain things. The respect that I'm trying to garner from you, I can't do that unless I've got to a maturation point as a man. Okay? All right. And as one thing I'm telling you, as young men, right? As young men, when you are going into these relationships, having someone considerably older than you and that you've liked for a very long time puts you in this infatuation phase. And it's very difficult to shift that. It's very difficult to shift out of that because you're still infatuated with that person, right? Until the rose tint glasses kind of fall off. And then, you know, that's when certain things start happening between the two of you, because you start to realize, okay, maybe I don't need to look at life that way. I look at it differently. And that can cause issues because the person's seeing you shift and change, and you're doing something a little bit more different. But I realized that if you've liked her since you were 15, then you've been chasing her all the time. And then obviously you kind of get with someone else in between the time. And then you guys finally get together a little bit later on. But you guys were actually in between a situationship. She's liked him since he was 17. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it real. There's going to be some form of power in this instance. And a power dynamic just simply means how we relate to one another and the relationship between the two people. Is there a dynamic? Yes, there's a dynamic of age. There's a dynamic of maturity. There's a dynamic of experience. Okay? There is definitely a power dynamic, and us pretending as if there isn't is Jesus gloss. And some of you are happy to put Jesus gloss on because you like to Jesus gloss things a lot of times. Doesn't need a Jesus gloss. I'm not even questioning whether I've even been nice to say I'm not questioning the morality of the situation. I'm just questioning the power dynamic of the relationship. Gigi said, from a personal experience, I dated a man. I was 4 years older and trust there was a power dynamic. What I said and wanted was law. Absolutely. Where one person has more power in the relationship. And that's what I was seeing from her, because the way she said certain things. We'll play the clip. We'll continue and we'll listen some more. Right. All right.
When you were on the phone, I called you and gave you all of that stuff, and it was like, it felt like that. It was for saying, I don't care about all that other stuff, but you didn't hype me up when I wanted to be hyped up. And I'm like, so it's like, oh, other people might, someone else.
Put my bag in the car.
Okay,
and you get out of the car and say, honey, I missed you.
I understand.
I want them to understand. But anyway.
Yeah, but it was like, so I know other things, so like none of that matters to you. It was about the things that I didn't do rather than the things that I did do. So I was feeling, she was feeling underappreciated, and I was feeling underappreciated at the same time. And then she said something, and I don't think it was exactly what she meant, but what I heard was that, like, you regret picking me, you know, like regret marrying me.
Let's pause it at this part. All right, let's pause this part. I was like, oh, wait, why do we get to this part and they're having a conversation? In this conversation, and yeah, I was like, wait, so you asking her whether she regrets the marriage, if she regrets the marriage, and listen to what happens next in the scene, right?
So
like I regret marrying.
Yeah, she regrets me. She regrets
I
me.
want to say I did not say that.
So,
that's what
That's what from what she said. That's what I got. But what was the kicker was that I was like,
oh yeah.
I was like,
Sorry, it's not funny.
what I'm hearing you say from what you just said is that you regret marrying me, right? And if you don't like, if that's not how you feel, like just like say that right now, because I'm trying to, you know, the active listening is like from what I'm gathering from what you said is this, right? So when I said that, she didn't say anything back.
I didn't respond.
She didn't respond at all. So I'm like, wow, she really regrets marrying me. Oh my God. So
I never said that.
So I was heartbroken. I was like heartbroken, and like I called up one of.
Now, why am I highlighting this part? I'm highlighting it because as a man, specifically, you can fall into this place where you become this puppy dog for a relationship. You're unable to fully develop your leadership because you're a puppy dog in a relationship. And the reason being is that because if you've liked someone for so long since we're young, it can be very hard to swing it the other way. Right? So I was again, the originality of the reason why I wanted to do this video was because I realized, I was like, oh, there's a huge age gap from when he was young. That's the reason why I'm seeing certain energy in the way they're interacting. There's a power dynamic between the two of them. Right? So again, some of you are arguing about the relationship, and I'm not arguing necessarily about them, you know, the breaking up or anything. It's about whether there's a power dynamic or not. And some of you are doing round the mill just to prove there's no power dynamic. You're literally running round to try and defend this couple. And I'm like, I'm not saying they should break up. I'm saying there's a power dynamic. That's it. You know what I mean? Okay. So in this situation, when I was watching, I was like, oh, hold on a minute. Wait. So she said that to you. She didn't say anything. The question was very clear. Do you regret marrying me? It was very clear, right? Very, very clear. And I was like, oh, okay. She didn't want to say anything. There's a reason why I didn't want to say anything, right? Because we got two choices. Either she really regrets not marrying you, okay? Either she regrets not really marrying you, or number two, there's a control aspect, right? You put people in their place when you don't answer a certain question. Right? If the person, you know, if the person says to you, "Hey, look, I'm hearing you say that you regret marrying me," and the person that goes, "What do you take from that?" That's an answer. If I ask you a question and say to you, "Do you regret marrying me?" and you don't say anything at all, it's actually an answer. The no answer is an answer, because you can easily say, no, I don't regret marrying you. So I said there's two reasons why you don't answer that question, right? And there's two reasons. The first one, you know, the first one is that, okay, great. Do you know what? You know, the first one is that, in all honesty, you know what? You just felt like you didn't want to answer it. You know, you felt like, you know what? You actually, you know, you feel some way. You might have been angry, you might have been vexed, and you didn't want to answer it. So you want to kind of like show them one or two, right? Or the other aspect could be the fact that, you know what, really and truly, this could be an aspect of manipulation and control. You know what I mean? Right? Because why would anybody not want to acknowledge the fact that somebody said that I feel like you regret marrying me? You know what I'm saying? I would never want my partner to be in a dark place of not knowing. So I was listening to, and I was seeing this one or two things. You know, I was just listening to one or two things, and I started to realize, okay, this might, and when I said power dynamic, the reason why I say that is because also what people don't really talk about is that the person who's also in power is trying to keep power. And sometimes these things like this can be aspects of keeping power. Now, see, it's easy to spot when a man does it. It's very easy to spot when men are being controlling. I think it's very difficult for some people to spot when women are controlling. And when I say controlling, it doesn't mean she's holding up puppeteer strings and he's dancing to every beat. What I'm talking about is holding on to power. And sometimes things like this, they're very little, but they are part of the manipulation where it's like, I'm going to keep hold of the power dynamic. I want you to stay in a place where you keep liking me. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. So yes, I called it manipulation. And I was like, whoa, and this is the first video I ever saw of them. It came up my internet. It's the first ever video. Before I watched the breakup one, I didn't know they were 15 and 21. I didn't know that. But I came across this video and I reviewed it with a panel of people, right? Because some people in my chat saying about, you should have reviewed it with a panel and then invited them to come over in conversation. I review everybody without a panel, and I review everybody without them coming on channel. Let's not, you know what I mean? And so, you know, that's why I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Okay, that was potentially this could have been her trying to hold on to control and hold on to the power that she has in that relationship. You know what I mean?
My friends, and like,
He
like
left.
I left. I was like,
he even said, I'll be right back. I didn't answer, and then he just got up and was excusing me.
I was really like, you know, kind of like breaking my heart.
I didn't time to process because I have been learning not to respond right away because I don't want to be like, are you dumb? Like, I have to hold my tongue sometimes. That might not have been the best time, but I was like, just pick your words carefully because I'll be like, well, then maybe I don't know. It's probably best if you don't have nothing nice to say. Don't say nothing at all. But it probably would. I probably could have said, or like, no, that's not what I mean. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Answer me this: how would you not know that? No, let's really deep what we're saying here. You don't deep, right? You don't deep that this would have been nuts to not. This would have been sensible to say, no, I don't regret marrying you. I mean, we're not kids. Well, I mean, technically, he was kind of a kid, but you know, like, do you not see? Do you see what I'm saying to you? Thank you, Red Garnet. That's the point I'm making. There is little regard for his feelings. Hers come first, and the reason being is because there is a dynamic, right? There's a dynamic between the two of them, and because there's a dynamic between the two of them, there is a lack of consideration on her end, and that's what I was noticing when I did the review the first time around. I was like, oh. You get what I'm saying to you, right? Like, so in regard, I said, that's where I'm starting to see the manipulation. That's where I'm seeing the dynamic. That's where I'm seeing the control aspect in the relationship. And part of my channel is to call out manipulation, the dark arts, call out what? Control, and call out influence. That's what we do. And unfortunately, your favorite YouTube couple, we're a part of that. And it's okay. Okay? No one's asked them to get divorced. We're just saying that they're going to need to work on that. Right?
You know, I went all the way down to, like, you know, my friend's house. I get a snack. Just called me and told me to come back.
I said, come home.
And it's like, and that really ended up talking was like a big misunderstanding. And that was the biggest thing that has happened, and we haven't really had anything like that happen since. I think we're doing a really good job at, you know, talking to understand one another, not being petty. To it's a great job not doing that.
I'm doing my best.
What that means?
It's on TikTok. You need to get on your Zoom TikTok.
What does that mean?
There was a girl who was talking about like every day at 10 you need to get on your Zoom. Like you need to be better. Like so people are like, if I get on my Zoom, I'm better.
Okay.
You need to get on Zoom.
All right. I guess I mean, but we do a good job at arguing well and like talking so that the other person understands where we're coming from rather than saying words to hurt one another. Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest things that like you have to think about. What you're hoping to accomplish from the argument. You want them to hear you and you want to hear them rather than like say things that are just going to inflame the situation more.
Yeah. You know something I think we could work on though, but you actually did it today. I'm not proud of you, but there are some times where we be kind of mad at each other or like say I was upset with Jonathan or a different day he's upset with me. It'll be like the next day and be like, you know I was upset with you yesterday morning, right? Like, yeah. Or he'll be like, you know I was mad at you last night. Like, you know you hurt my feelings last night, right? I'm like, yeah. And then that's it. Like, we all like, we just like, ooh, I know he's mad at me. I'm not gonna say nothing. Or he does the same thing. Like, damn, I know she's mad. I'm not saying nothing. We just kind of acknowledge it a few days later. Like, you know, a couple days ago I was upset, right? Yeah.
In my head, I'm just like, oh, this is so annoying. Oh, she'll get over it.
Yeah, it's like, he'll be fine tomorrow. I'm not gonna bother with it. Can you tell me what's wrong? I'm so sad. Do you think we should start doing that?
Of course we should start.
Insecurities popped up during marriage, and how did you overcome them? I think for me, it's definitely been my weight, because now I'm being seen a lot more with a lot less clothes on, and I'm eating a lot more, and I'm gaining more. So like before, it's so annoying because before I was smaller, but I wasn't really being seen like that, and now I'm gaining weight, and now I gotta be seen all the time. So that's something that has popped up. And
I know what you're saying.
what?
Wait, no, go ahead.
I don't want to say it's the case.
Oh, you can say that.
No, that's not nice. I'm so insecure about that. Like, I feel like, so another thing I'm insecure about is how different our families are. Yeah, we just grew up differently, and sometimes Jonathan has to hear a lot of stuff that gets called up on my phone. I'm like, bruh, he's probably like, bruh, what did I get myself into? But
I
know he never thinks that, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, he hates us. Like, now I'm like, coming with super healthy family, everything vibes over here. I'm like, well, buckle up, big dog, because things are different on our side of the bed. But
which would make sense as to where some of the manipulative tendencies are coming from. Because if you come from a family that's a little bit dysfunctional, I can understand, you know, I can understand where potentially the manipulative aspects can come from, you know what I mean? And so, you know, I can see how that can then play into, again, and listen, desiring a situation where you desire to control the relationship, because you can't control your family, but can try to control your man, or you try to control your girl. In this instance, is her controlling him. And again, these are big words: control, you know, manipulation. And someone might jump on a mad thing, but there are little aspects of behavior that are showing us. I don't think I don't think they're any worse than any other kind of couple I've seen in the world. They're not worse than any other couple. I'm just talking about what we see. Since you've given us an insight into relationship, I see some aspects, right? Yes, I think the control may be a security to it. Absolutely. 100%. I think there's an aspect of control that comes because it's a need to keep something constant. And remember, the position he originally played was somebody who was looking up at her. That's the position he originally played. What happens when that person switches that position? What happens when that person comes out of that space? Right? That's the question I'm asking. What happens when he decides he's not going to play the I'm going to look up at you role anymore, and says, actually, I want to take a more assertive role? You get me? So that's another aspect, you know, that also we have to look into. Elsid is absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible, Elsid. You know, and I'm trying to remember which part of it what I watched. I want to see if I can find it. Well, the actual relationship. Okay, let me see if I can. I want to see if I can get some clips of the other thing. And that's my point, Gigi. I think that's the thing. Once you're used to someone being a certain type of way, when they begin to shift and change, how you gonna handle it? And that's the difficulty as well. That's the big difficulty about it. It's very difficult to then shift it and to change it, because you're so used to having a level of power over that person. And so when there's now a change, it can be difficult to maneuver that place. And what people often tend to do is try to rearrange the control and the power in a different way. Right? People oftentimes try to rearrange it and have power or control in a different way. They try to control something else. You know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying to you? So I'm not saying it's impossible for them. I'm just calling out something that I saw, right? I just think there's a little bit of disrespect, you know, that was like, yo, like, just gotta be careful with the way that certain things out here are kind of said, you know what I mean? And let me play the short that I was on there. Let me see if I can play the short. that I played, because I remember I played it to the guys and they were like, "What the frick?" I was like, "Yeah, bro, like I just think to myself that I just don't think you want to be doing this kind of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Here, I'll show you the short. Here it is. Here it is.
My brothers weren't groomsmen, so I made them my flower boy.
I just don't think you need that. You know what I mean? I just don't think you need that. I don't think you need to put on a short talking about how you are praying for a godly man who's 6'3", but you got a 5'3" one. I just need you to understand, like, it seems so innocent, but it's actually disrespectful. Imagine a man says, "I was praying for a girl with a big back, but I got one with a small bum." No. Deep. This is not a small thing. It's a very heavy thing, which is why I said about manipulation, control, and the disrespect that starts to happen when there's a power dynamic between the two people, right? Imagine a man puts a video saying, I remember when I lost my mind. And I thought I was praying for a girl with a big back, but I got a girl with a small nyash instead. But she's perfect though. And why are you in a relationship with people who do that anyway? HEYU7HR, you always disagree with me, and everything you say is always, but the men do. We're not having a but the men do. Is it right or is it wrong? Just call it out as it is. It's not every day that the men do it as well, because that's literally going past the point I'm making. Is it right or is it wrong? That's what you need to answer. Any other answer is null and void. We haven't got time for the nonsense that you do. I haven't got the time for it, right? So for me personally, it is disrespectful to that to your partner, especially on the internet and the big boy wild world internet. We're gonna always see this, right? Certain things don't need to be on the internet. They don't need to be on the internet. They just need to be in your head. Why are we sharing every single thing that happens? It's in your head. Look, we don't need every single. I'm not saying that relationships are perfect, and I'm not saying that show me a perfect relationship. I'm not saying that. There are certain things though that are not fleshed out very well. There are certain things that are not fleshed out very well at all. And so when certain things are happening, I'm putting pieces of the puzzle. Like, oh, that's why they do what they do. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah. Like, so for me personally, remember now, and I want you to deep it as well. This guy's not dumb. He's a very intelligent young man, but I want you to deep it. The question he asked her in that video was, "Do you regret marrying me?" And she doesn't answer the question, saying, "Oh, I didn't want to say anything before it's time because I didn't want to say anything that I couldn't take back," which is nuts anyway. And then you imagine that, and then you see a video of you talking about how I wish, I was praying for a 6'3", but I got a 5'3" one. You put the two. Do you think are you not going to think you're going to put two and two together? Are you not going to think you're going to start putting two and two together and it's going to start making four? This is how the stumbling blocks of a relationship begin. And I'm saying, let's nip it in the bud before it gets somewhere disrespectful. Right? So it's important to make sure that, let's communicate effectively, because otherwise we're going to find ourselves in different situations. I didn't say they're not a good relationship, Wonder Pain. That's the whole point. It was a point. You see, you're getting Wonder Pain. You're getting too infused in trying to defend them. You're missing my point. When did I ever say that they weren't a good relationship? What I said is they have a power dynamic. I didn't say they weren't a good relationship. You're too caught up in trying to fight. I need you to stop trying to fight because there's no fight here. Nobody said there's a fight. I said there are aspects of a relationship. If we don't be very careful, it's leading to disrespect down the road. That's what I said. It's not about them being a bad relationship. I've never said they're not a good relationship. I said there are aspects to this that are a bit of a problem here. So, just chill, B. You know what I mean? Chill. You know what I'm saying? Chill. It's personal for you, and I need you to chill. Okay? Like, chill. Okay? Yeah? You'll be okay. Okay. So, like, yeah, I mean, look. Wonder Pain. Listen, if you keep on going, I'm just gonna just block you. I ain't got the time today. I ain't got the time today. I'm not calling you that. So, I'm not calling you that. Wonder Pain. Well, that's fine. You can be unsubscribed. I don't need people like you here. You're crying about the fact that you want to defend a point that doesn't need to be defended. Like, I'm actually understanding where you're coming from, and you defend the point, but you unsubscribed. You unsubscribed a long time ago. We haven't got time for people like you. But yeah, no. So yeah, so I'm saying, like, yo, this begins pieces of the puzzle that begin to this begins to feed into a disrespect. So we've got to be very careful on that as well, right? Got to be very, very careful. And so just being very aware of the fact that in those instances, we got to be careful how we allow certain things to happen, because they begin to infect a relationship that can go sour. So all I'm saying is that from his perspective, they're gonna have to work together to now bring her back to come to a place. Thank you, Samuel. I she was missing the point. I knew she was gonna get that. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's they're gonna have to work together. You're gonna have to work together to get to a place where he's gonna be comfortable taking that lead, and there ain't gonna be no power struggle between the two of them. At the same time, he's got to be comfortable checking certain things. Be like, hey, let's check that. I don't like that. I'm not working with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get to that place where you're comfortable. And that takes time. And that takes also for her to take her foot off the accelerator and allow him to also take the wheel and say, you can lead it. You get what I'm saying to you? Yeah. So that's what's really important. So they're gonna have some work to do. You know what I mean? And hey, maybe they've done the work already, but that's what the internet presented to me. So I wanted to present that particular, aspect as well, right? But let me now talk about the last bit of this, the moral aspect. I said I hold double standards because I also understand that men and women are different, and there's automatically a power dynamic between men and women, right? But him being 18 and her being 24 at the time, ooh. But talking when they were 17, ooh. It's a little bit much. It's a little bit much. It's a little bit much. You get what I'm saying to you? So for me, for me personally, yeah, I gotta be I'm a little bit sketch about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is giving a little bit predatory, AW. You know what? I'm trying to be nice, but you know what? You want to go straight to the meat of the bones, and it will come across as being predatory. You feel what I'm saying to you? Actually, baby Patricia, they were talking at 17, and she said she kind of liked him at 17. So, you know what I mean? Like, she was kind of liking him at 17. Now, she didn't make a move on it until he was 18, but hey, you know, you get me? So, hey, listen, I hear it though, and I get it, and I understand, you know. I don't know what they have in common, but what I would say is, you know, I get it. Look, some things do happen, you know, and they are rarity. They're not necessarily the norm, but yeah, I just think to myself that power dynamic is mad. And she definitely waited. Listen, I'm not even mad at. I'm not. And again, maybe I'm. And that's why I said to you that I have a double standard. I have a double standard because as a man, if it had been me at 18, I'd have been excited. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Right? At 18, I would have been excited, like, that ain't no thing for me. No, I don't care. If I was him, I would not be, I would be like, I would be telling me who's reviewing it, shut up, bro. I know what I'm doing, brother. Leave me alone. I'm 18. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm mature. You know what I'm saying? And because of that perspective, I'm struggling to call it what it really is, because me at 18, I do hold a double standard. As a man, I do hold a double standard. I hold it a little bit, which is that me at 18, I'll be like, bruv, I'm mature, bruv. Like, man knows things, you get me? You see what I'm saying to you? Like, yeah. Like, if I met her 15 or 20, I'm a G for that. You know what I mean? I'd have been like, I'm a G for that. What, man's out here, you know, with a 21-year-old, like, leave me alone. Let me chat to who I want to chat to, brother. Don't come mess up my game. That would have been my thought process at 15. You get what I'm saying to you? That would have been my thought process. And that's why I can't fully call it out, because I know that part of me is being double standards. I have to be honest with you. I have to hold myself true and say I'm not being all the way true because I'm having a double standard. You get what I'm saying to you? So that's why I'm cautious about it. And again, I'm not asking for them to divorce. I'm not asking for them to break up. They're clearly here. You know, they're clearly here. So it's not me trying to shout them. I don't want anyone to go and message them and say he's trying to break them up for a match. I'm not. I'm just saying that, you know, there's some things there. You know. Only Jess. Yeah, it's only Jess. Sorry. The channel is only, I'll put a link so you guys can there's a link in the chat for them. Only Jess B. That's it there. Yeah, man. You know. Oh, so they beat you up in the chat yesterday. Yo, it was wild. I fell asleep, man. I tried to come up, but I fell asleep, guys. I'm so sorry. I fell asleep. You know what I mean? I fell asleep. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, listen, that was my thought process for you guys, you know, to say it was a little bit of a breakdown of the, that was a little bit of a breakdown of their relationship. Nothing too crazy, apart from the fact that 15 and 21. But you know, hey, we're gonna leave it there. Yeah. Elsa said she was waiting on a heartfelt apology. All right, guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you because I've got to do this Ready to Love live as well. But yeah. And that's fair, DL. You know what I mean? DL, that's fair. Look, and I appreciate DL. Thank you for even saying that. I appreciate you for coming out and being clean about that. You know what I'm saying? I respect people like that. Do you know what I mean? Because I have no problem with that. You know what I mean? We all get into situations. That's what this channel is about. It's about growth. And so I appreciate you even sharing that. You know what I mean? Like I get it, man. I do understand that. You know, I do understand that the situation. And again, I understand that they're them too as well, that, you know, in that situation, there are complexities that I haven't seen, you know, like I haven't watched every single video of theirs. You know, it's just I came across 2 videos and that's what I garnished from it as well. So you know, so yeah. You know. So Andrea said she's a little bit younger than she actually is. I hear that. She has a younger presentation. I can see that. I can see that as well. Okay. All right, cool. We're gonna love you and leave you guys. And we're gonna come back in a few minutes because we gotta do you know, we're gonna do Ready to Love breakdown last night as well. So what's the outcome? A relationship dynamic. The outcome is this. Listen, thank you for even bringing that to my attention. Okay, the outcome. The final solution is this. There's gonna have to be work that's gonna be done between the both of them, right? She's gonna and that's what I was saying, that she has to come to a place where she can take her foot off the pedal and allow him to step forward into what he really is, right? If that is what he wants. And again, and this is the difficulty as well, is that what he really wants? We won't really know, because if he's in a people-pleasing mode, he'll do whatever it takes to please her. So it's very difficult now to find out what the true representation of what he actually wants. All right. But I would hope that it gets to a point that for him, he gets to a place where he's like, I feel comfortable enough to say and do what I want. And I hope you're comfortable enough also living in that when I do those things, you're okay with that. Right. And you allow me room to grow as well. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But so if there's room to grow in that aspect, then fair enough. You know what I mean? But he's going to need time to grow. He's going to need time to grow. He's going to need time to grow, and not necessarily outside of a relationship, but personal development in terms of growth, in terms of you becoming more assertive, you living your life as a leader, like you being able to take some certain decisions, you've been able to, choose your path accordingly. And whether that is, if you're on your path, then call it no biggie, but it's hard to tell, man. You get me? But she needs to take her foot off the pedal a little bit and allow him just to be able to blossom a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying? And she has to consider what she's saying as well, and what she's doing, and being very careful about where it's coming from. You get what I'm saying to you? Now, the difficulty behind this is power is addictive. You know what I mean? I'm going to the next live now, guys. So I'm going to end this live. All right. But appreciate you guys. We'll see you again soon. Much love, much appreciation.